Hey guys, what's going on? It's Colin here again. Today we're looking at the unfortunate mess that this bench has become that's preventing me from starting today's project. So I guess we should probably clean this up first. I think just a little tap here might do the trick. Well, that's a little better, so let's get started on today's project. Alright, so today on the bench we have a Featherlight Weed Eater leaf blower, which is kind of interesting. Normally you think of Weed Eater as a weed whacker, but anyways, that's what they decided to call this. I picked this up from the free pile, also known as the Curb, and I have not touched it since then. I just brought it in last night and put it down and said I'll get to this at some point, and this is some point. So at first I realized it doesn't look too bad. It looks dirty. It looks like it's been sitting for a while. Actually, there's a tiny bit of gas left in that line. Primer seems like it's working. It's in the stop position and then full choke, so maybe they were trying to start it. I don't know. Tank looks pretty clean. There's really nothing left in there. Cap's missing though. That's kind of interesting. Handle's on rubber, which kind of makes it feel a little weird when you're holding it, but I'm sure after a while of holding a 2-cycle engine, that was probably pretty nice. Pull cord. It does seem to be working. It feels pretty. The engine feels pretty stiff. I'm wondering if they ran this with too low of an oil pressure. The actual leaf blower end looks alright. It just seems like a kind of cheap unit. I guess I'll fix it and try and sell it. Not going to get a whole lot, but I'll have fun fixing it, so I guess it's worth it. Alright, so let's dive right in. So I just pulled the spark plug. As you can see, it looks pretty gross, honestly. It's got a lot of carbon buildup on it and some like oily residue. Let's just see without the plug. So it seems to not be too locked up. That's good. It felt like it was kind of stiff, but I guess that was just compression. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and check for spark. I just had to grab myself a jumper cable, because all the metal on this thing is enclosed. Still doesn't mean this is going to be easy. Goes something like that. Looks like we have spark, although it does look kind of weak. Try and get you guys a shot of that. Let's see. Can you see? Maybe? There we go. So as you can probably see, there is some spark. It didn't look super bright, but that plug also probably isn't too good. But that's good, so I'm going to dump a little gas right down into the cylinder. We'll see if it fires off. Alright, see if she'll fire off here. Gonna have no choke, full speed. There we go. This thing's got good compression. Hey, she's a runner. Cool. I think that the pull cord here is having a little bit of an issue retracting. As you can probably see, it's kind of stiff. Maybe that's where some of the stiffness is coming from. I don't know, but we'll dive into it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this air cleaner off, and wow, that's actually like brand new. Huh. Alright. So I guess what I'm going to do is pop this carburetor off, get that soaking in the chem dip, and then we'll take a look at trying to fix this recoil. It's a little stuck on there. Just going to take a note of which one of these tubes goes where, so I can get it back on. There we go. That carburetor's off there. Go ahead and take it apart now. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull this thing apart. Looks like there's two sides on this. Sometimes you get everything on one side, sometimes they're two-sided like this. The main thing with these is just to be careful when you pull them off that you don't break the little diaphragms inside. Been there, done that, it's not fun. Because sometimes it could be kind of difficult to get replacements. Especially when they've been on here for as long as this one. This can also be kind of tricky with gloves. You might want to use a razor blade. Alright, so there's some very goopy old oil there. It looks like this was two-stroke mix and all the gas evaporated and left you with two-stroke oil. So that's gross. It's a good thing I pulled this apart. And on this side there's a primer bulb that doesn't want to seem to work too well. It's just kind of stuck. Makes me think that there's a passage that's blocked or something. Alright. Separate the primer bulb there. Shoot it onto the floor. Wanted to jump away. See, that's still plenty squishy, so that's good. Put that plate over there. And here's one more diaphragm. This is the one that's hard to get. You can find the other ones, but these are pretty specific to the carburetor. So just be very careful when you peel this off. It's all covered in oil, it's slippery. There we go. That is off. I don't put the diaphragms in the chem dip because I lost one that way. Long story. But there we go. I'm going to grab the chem dip and we'll lower it into its bath. Alright, we got the chem dip here. Just going to go ahead and take the tray, put that there, and that there. That's all that's soaking because that's all that has all the blocked passages and stuff. Nothing else has anything to do with the gas not getting from point A to point B. Go ahead and let that soak for a good, half an hour to an hour and a half, somewhere in there. And in the meantime, we'll take a look at the recoil. So as you probably saw when I went to start this thing, this cord likes to kind of stick every once in a while. And it's just generally kind of stiff. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing apart and we'll take a look at it. Looks like you unfortunately have to take this whole blower assembly off to get to that. But that's not a big deal. Wow, everything on this is plastic. Weird. Even the impeller is plastic. It's kind of unusual. And there goes the tube. Huh. Looks like you have to pull this off to get to anything. So I don't really want to grab onto this and risk breaking it. Alright, just shot a little penetrant spray on that, got the impact driver, let's see what happens. Hey! I love this thing. The question is, alright, good, I was going to say, is this going to come off easily now? Alright, there's our recoil, it looks like. Looks like it's all right there. Gonna just pull this piece off and see if we can't get a little better access to it, and I'm just going to shoot some lubrication in there. Oh, I see. This whole thing is the recoil. So if I pull that off, the little clock spring is going to unwind and go everywhere. So I'm not doing that. I'll just have to shoot lubricant in from here. Thing likes to steal my drill bit. Alright, so turns out all I really have here is WD-40, but that should work well enough, hopefully. Might shoot a little bit of regular motor oil on that spring. So when you go really slow, it doesn't like to, but as soon as you give it a little juice here, and you really yank on it, it should retract fine. So that seems all good to me. Just going to shoot a little more WD-40 in there, and hope for the best. Alright, I'm going to slap this thing back together and I'll be back in a second. Alright, let's rescue this carburetor from the chem dip. Just going to put down this little rag here to catch some of the chem dip that drips off of this thing. We try and shake off as much as possible there, but it's not always perfect. Alright. Put that off to the side here. And dry this. That stuff usually does a pretty good job with cleaning these, but if you feel like it, you can always go ahead and blow out all these passages with compressed air as well. I don't think I'm going to do that with this one in the interest of time and curiosity to see how this thing's going to run. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this thing back together, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I just put a little fuel in it. I didn't put much because I don't have a gas cap on hand that fits. I'm going to go ahead and prime this about 5 times. There we go. Go there, full choke, and I'm going to spin you guys around and we'll see if this thing will fire up. Alright, let's see if she'll fire up here. Hey, you can't ask for better than that. Can't ask for better than that. That thing runs pretty well. Well, I'd say that thing runs pretty well, especially considering how little effort and time I put into it. The only thing I need to do, which I'll do off camera, is there's 2 adjustments here that help with the air-fuel mix. I'm going to have to play with those a little bit because it seems to run best with the chokers like there. But when you flip it off, it starts to hunt a little bit. So I think just playing with those a little bit will fix it, but that's nothing you guys need to see. Anyways guys, thank you all for watching. If you like what you see, hit the little like and subscribe buttons. Feel free to leave a comment if you have one, and I'll see you in the next one.